So hi guys, welcome to the practice of chakras. So we're working with the second chakra today, which is Svadhisthana chakra, the sacral chakra, and that is in the space between just above the pelvis, just below the belly button. So it's either good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you out there who's practicing this pre-recorded video. Whatever works for you, what time of day works for your body. So this chakra is actually all about feeling and feeling inner into that body, noticing our sensations and emotions, noticing the pleasure that we get out of whatever we're doing. This chakra particularly is one of my favorites because it's all about fluidity and its element is about water. So in this practice we do lots of arm movements, lots of flows of vinyasas, really trying to move our bodies in different ways. So really feeling how the sensations come within our hips, within our shoulders, around the spine, from the back of the spine, upper part down to the tailbone. So for me, it's all about being present, because when you feel your body, you have to be in that present moment. So you start to forget about the things that have happened in the past. You start to forget about the things that you need to do in the future. It's all about the here and now. Letting go, moving, changing the body, transformation. So that's what happens in this space. Now, if your body is out of line, quite often the body feels unstable, isolated. You have no passion, you now have no get up and go, you have no drive, your emotions feel quite low. And within society, those feelings aren't valued. So therefore, when we start to get in balance with this chakra, you start to connect a little more with the outside world and the inside world. So a beautiful practice to do. So the colour of this chakra is orange, so occasionally I might bring your attention to that colour, maybe awareness within that chakra space, that sacral space. So we're going to start in our child's pose position, and we're going to bring our knees to the width of the mat, bringing our big toes together, slowly working our hips down towards those feet. So seat to feet in a very, very slow way. Start to move those shoulders from side to side. Really working with a little bit of flow here rather than just landing yourself in that child's pose. And as that chest slowly starts to come down to the floor, maybe walk those hands forward towards the front of the mat. Have a turn of the head in one direction, bring it back through center, take it over to the other side. All the time moving that body, moving those hips, softly bringing those feet to the feet. And then when you feel like you've settled, bring that forehead to the mat and maybe just give that forehead a little massage on that floor, moving that skin on that mat. Massaging into that upper part near that third eye, and then massage it into the opposite direction. Maybe move that head up and down, massaging it forwards and backwards, and then just bring that body to a little bit of stillness for a couple of moments. Bring the focus to that space just below the belly button, just above the pelvis. And just bring the thought of the colour orange to that space. Now, not only is that chakra in that front side of the body, it also sits in the back of the body. So that space, which is straight opposite the front, just feeling that breath, maybe expanding that area of that chakra, that sacral chakra, just above that tailbone. Breathing nice long breaths in through the nose and long breaths out through the mouth. Maybe just start rocking those hips again from side to side as you start to walk those hands back up towards the body, slowly bringing those shoulders towards stacking on top of the hips, but take it nice and slow. Move through the waist. move through that spine, taking it in a little lateral flexion. And then when the hands start to come closer, then start to move that spine up and down in flexion and extension. All the time moving that body fluidly. Feeling how that spine feels for you. Remember, this chakra is all about water and how water flows. Noticing any energy that's starting to build up in that body, going totally internally. And then when you've done a couple of those, swing the legs round to seated, bring the bums onto the mat, bring the feet into a cross-leg position. Place the hands on top of those thighs. Take a breath in, roll the shoulders up towards the ears and back down towards the hips. Then just bring the arms out so the hands are pointing out, the elbows are hugging into that midline. Take a breath in. Take a breath out, bring the hands close together and draw the belly back. Breathe in, let the belly pop out. Breathe out, bring those hands back together. Breathe in, open the arms. Breathe out, bring those hands back together. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keep that breath going. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. 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 Keep that going. Feeling that energy building up in between the hands as you breathe out through the mouth. Feeling like you're compressing something in between the hands on every exhale. Not bringing those palms totally together. Just feeling like you've got a little ball of orange energy in between those hands every time you exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Obviously the eyes can be closed or open here. Just a few more times. Feeling that energy building up in those arms as you squeeze those palms towards each other, but they don't touch. One more time. Release the hands back to the thighs. Take a roll of the shoulders up towards the ears, back down towards the hips. Then make your way onto your hands and knees. So coming into that tabletop position, ready to get some fluid cat-cow movements here. First of all, just rock those hips from side to side. Then maybe start to make circles with the center of the body in one direction. Keeping those hands nice and grounded on the floor to find that stability. Thinking of that first chakra we worked on in the first practice of May. And then take those circles in the opposite direction, really feeling the shoulders and the hips starting to get involved. Maybe start to get that neck involved, turning through the neck, rolling through the head. And then bring that cat-cow to a little bit of stillness. Breath in, lift up the head, lift up the bum, drop the belly. Breath out, fold everything back in, chin to chest. And again, lift that head, lift that bum, drop the belly. Breath out, folds everything back in, chin to chest. Really flow with the shoulders and the hips as you move through flexion and extension. Working that spine, starting to build up some heat through that body. Sometimes bringing that awareness to that sacral chakra, that space between the pubic bone and the belly button. Feeling the body, feeling the emotions that start to build. And then the next time you come through that neutral space, hold it here. Take a turn around towards that right foot. Bring it back through center. Take a turn to the left foot. And feel that fluid movement as you go lateral flexion to the right and lateral flexion to the left. Keep that going a few times, working through that waist. Working through those shoulders. The hips at the moment are staying nice and static. And then let's start to get those hips involved. So as you turn towards that right foot, push the hips to the left. As you turn towards the left foot, push the hips to the right. Feeling that connection of the body moving through that space. Starting to find that feeling of fluidity throughout the body. And then the next time you come back from the left side, bring it back into center. And then just slowly rock those hips back to the heels, back to that child's pose position. Start to walk those hands up towards those knees. And as those shoulders come over the hips, take circles with the arms as though you're going into backstroke. So just working those shoulders a little more. And then when you've done a few times in backstroke, start to take it forward into front crawl. Just getting some mobility through those shoulders. Feeling that body move around. The waist is twisting. The shoulders are moving. And then bring yourself back to stillness. Walk the hands towards the front of the mat. Tuck the toes under. Lift up through the center of the body into our plank position. Hold it here for a couple of breaths. Then start to paddle those feet as you start to lift up those hips. Move those hips a little from side to side. Start to bring it through those shoulders. So really feeling that sensation of movement. Notice anything that's starting to come into the thoughts. Just feel happy with those thoughts. Don't judge them. Then maybe just let those thoughts go by bringing yourself back to that fluid breath. Maybe now starting to bring that breath in and out through the nose if you can. Still keeping this down dog moving, hips moving, shoulders moving. And then in a moment we'll bring that down dog to a still place. Slowly bringing those heels towards the mat. Having a little nod and shake of those heads. We're going to take 3 vinyasas. I'll start with option 1. Then if you wish to do your own vinyasa choice, feel free to go with it. Come forward to plank on the inhale. Release the knees, bring the elbows by the sides of the body as you release to the floor. Untuck the toes, push into the hands, lift up the chest. Release that chest down, tuck under those toes. Push into those hands and feet as you lift the hips and squeeze those heels back. Option 2, come forward to a plank. Release down to the floor, straight bodies, elbows graze those ribs, untuck the toes, push into the hands, lift up the chest. Release the chest back down, tuck under the toes, chest back to the thighs. Push into those hands and feet, lift up the hips and squeeze the heels back. Option 3, if you're coming with me, I'll stick with option 1 or 2, come forward to a plank position. Release to hovering off the mat. Roll over the toes, lift up the chest. Making your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. So remember, when we take those vinyasas, you can go with option 1, 2 or 3. Just working with the energy levels you have. Start to move in that down dog again, moving through the shoulders, moving through the elbows, moving through the hips. And then bring that down dog to stillness. Encourage both heels towards the mat. Your next breath in, we raise that right leg, we take a bend into the right knee and we stack the hip. Open that right knee out and bring it down to meet the left knee. Then raise that right leg again back up to the ceiling, open the hip. Bring that right knee out and down back to meet the left. Raise that right knee again back up to the ceiling and open the hip. One more time, bring that right knee down, back towards the left knee, bring it back up to the ceiling and open that hip. Then take it in the opposite direction, bring the right knee down to meet the left. Take it then out to the side, open the hip, out to the right. Bring that right knee back down to meet the left. Around, back up to the ceiling, open the hip. Right knee back down to meet the left. Open it out to the side, back up to the ceiling, back down to meet the left, bring it in towards the nose. Raise that leg again back up towards the ceiling. Bring that right knee in towards the nose. One more time, raise that right leg back up to the ceiling. And this time bring that right foot in between the hands. Drop down onto that left knee. Take that left knee out to the side of the left side of the mat and bring that right foot out to the right side of the mat. Sink that left hip and bring that left hand slightly forward. Reach forward with the right hand, send it up to the ceiling, open the chest to the right. Swing it back round to the front and keep these circles of the arms going. Open the chest, bring the right hand to the back. Bring it around to the front. Open the chest again back up to the ceiling. Bring it round to the front. Keep that going a few more times. Feel that fluidity through that right shoulder. All the time, feeling the sensations in the body. Working through movement rather than holds. And then bring that arm in the opposite direction. Take it back up to the ceiling. Bring it back to the front. Around to the side, up to the ceiling, back to the front. 2 more times. Around, lift, back to the front, and again. And back to the front. Bring that right hand to the inside of the right foot, tuck the back toes under. Step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Toes pointing off the mat, heels on. Start to bring those bums down towards the floor. Now you can use your blocks if you wish to bring yourself onto a seat. Remember they have 3 heights. Bring the hands to the chest in the center, the elbows out, pushing those knees out to the sides. Take a couple of moments here, just holding it in this position. Then reach your right hand down to the floor, reach your left hand up to the ceiling. Bring the hands back together at the chest. Reach your left hand down to the floor, right hand up to the ceiling. Bring the hands back to the center. 1 more on each side. Right hand down, left hand lifts. Back to the center. Left hand down, right hand lifts. And back to the center. Hold it here for another breath. Then start to straighten those legs, bringing the hands to the floor, bringing yourself into a forward fold, maybe using the blocks underneath those hands, or books if you need to. Let go of the head here and have a little nod and shake of those heads. Maybe bend into the left knee, then into the right knee. Just moving those joints of the legs in and out of flexion and extension. Then bringing yourself back into the middle. Heel toe the feet back into hip width. Bend the knees, curl up through that spine, bringing yourself all the way up to standing, and roll the shoulders back. Raise the right hand, raise the left hand, and take it back into those backstroke arms. Feeling that movement in those shoulders. Movement through those waists. Remember, this chakra is all about fluidity rather than the holds and stability. So we're moving a little more through the poses than we would do normally. And then take those arms in the opposite direction, like we're taking that front crawl. Mobility through the shoulders, movement through the waist, but a little bit of stability through those hips whilst we're taking these movements of the arms. Then bring those hands back by the sides of the body. Take the left hand behind the back and take a hold of that right elbow. Then feel like you're pushing that sacral part, that chakra area, in towards that left arm. So we're pushing that middle part, that lower part of the back into that left. Then take that head over towards that right shoulder. Then start to roll the head forward, then back, and find that movement, that stretch through that left side of the neck. Moving slowly. Just getting into those shoulders, into those cervical spines. And then release that hand. Bring the hands back up towards the ceiling. Bring the palms together. Bring the hands to the chest. Take a moment in that standing mountain pose just to find a little stillness, a little calm through that fluidity, a little calmness through that water. Your next breath in, raise those hands back up towards the ceiling. Then start to fold over from those hips. Taking a hold of your blocks, either side of the mat. Step your left foot back. Bring your left knee down towards the mat, but keep those toes tucked under. Lift the chest, shoulder blades back towards those hips. And then take it into what we call pyramid pose. So we start to lift that back knee, straighten that right leg, and take it into that A-shaped position with the legs. And then drop down again with that left knee, and the right knee bends, and the chest lifts. Inhale, straighten the front leg, straighten the back leg. Exhale, release the back knee to the floor and bend through the front knee. And again, take it back to pyramid pose. Take it back to low lunge. Use that breath, fluid movement through those hips. The shoulders now come a little more static, even though they've still got a little movement as we move in and out of these two places. Getting that fluid moving through those joints. Oiling those joints as we move that body. Hips feeling stretch and flex. Remember, you can use books instead of blocks. Whatever you have at home, maybe you can use some tins, some bean tins. Maybe you don't need blocks at all, and you can just bring those hands to the floor and move in and out of those two places here. The next time you come back to low lunge, don't drop the knee. Just remove the blocks to the side. Bring that right leg back up towards the ceiling. Bring the knee back into the chest, nose to knee. Raise that leg back up to the ceiling. Bring that right knee to the right elbow. Raise that leg back up to the ceiling. Right knee to left elbow, keeping that movement fluid. And then the next time you breath out, bring that right foot back to meet the left. Take 3 vinyasas of your choice. Come forward to a plank on the inhale. Release your variation down to the floor on the exhale. Roll through and up and lift up those chests. Release those chests back down, tuck under the toes, chest back to the thighs. Push into those hands and feet, lift up the hips. Take another vinyasa of your choice. This time I'm taking option 2, releasing with straight body. Untuck the toes, lift up the chest. I'm taking my chest back to thighs, but maybe you're rolling straight over those toes with straight legs. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. My third option, I'm taking chaturanga, releasing to hovering off the mat. Roll through, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs, or rolling straight over those toes, lifting those hips. Just bring those knees back down to the mat, untuck the toes, bring the seat to the feet, take a few backstroke movements with those arms, just to find a little bit of restorative breath. And then take those hands in the opposite direction, as though you're taking your front crawl movement. Feel that movement through the waist. Notice how that body is starting to warm as we've moved that body through these dynamic movements. Then bring those hands to stillness. Bring the hands onto the thighs. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Then making your way back to down dog. Tucking the toes under, lifting the hips. Taking all those movements now on that opposite leg, the left leg. Your breath in, lift that left leg up towards the ceiling. Bend the knees, stack the hips. Then take that left knee out to the side and down towards that right knee. Then lift that leg back up to the ceiling and stack those hips. Take that left knee out to the side, back towards the right knee. Lift that leg back up to the ceiling and open the hip. And again, bring it down, back to meet the right knee, up to the ceiling and open the hip. Then this time take it in the opposite direction. So bring that left knee to the right knee, bring it out to the side, lift it up to the ceiling and open that hip. 2 more times, left knee to right knee, bring it out to the side, open the hip, lift it back to the ceiling. Left knee to the right knee, down, open out to the side, lift it back up to the ceiling and open that hip. Breath out brings that knee to the nose. Breath in, raise that leg. Breath out, knee to nose. Breath in, raise that leg. Breath out, bring that left foot just to the outside of the left hand, drop the right knee down and bring that knee over to the right side of the mat, the left foot to the left side. Reach that right hand slightly further forward, reach the left hand forward, send it up to the ceiling, open the chest, send it to the back of the room, bring it back to the front. Make full circles with that left arm, really feeling it through the waist, the spine, the shoulders. Full sensation of the internal body as you move in and out of these poses. And then bring that hand back to the front and then take it in the opposite direction. Send it back, up, back to the front. Back and up. Send it back to the front. A few more times. How is that body feeling internally as it started to warm up? Think about that orange glow in that space between that belly button and that pubic bone. Lift that back knee, step the left foot to meet the right, and then find yourself In our yogic squat, toes pointing off, heels slightly on. You can bring that block underneath the seat if you wish, or just bring that seat down, toes to the insides of the knees. Hold it here for a couple of breaths in stillness before we take our arm movements. So reach down to the floor with the left hand, reach up with the right and open the chest. Bring the palms back together, send the right hand down, the left hand lifts. Bring the palms back together, left hand down, right hand lifts, open the chest. One more time on that right side, right hand down, left hand lifts. Bring the hands back together, palms at the center, push the knees out with the elbows. Close the eyes for a couple of breaths. Then release the hands to the floor, start to straighten up through the legs. Remember, you can use the block under the hands if you wish. Let the head go, let the body forward fold. Then move a bend into both knees one at a time. Just moving those joints of the knees just to bring some fluid into that space. Pumping that blood around that system as we move in and out of these flexions, extensions, rotations, lateral bends. Then bring those legs to stillness. Slowly heel toe the feet back underneath the hips and then start to curl up through that spine. One vertebra at a time. Roll the shoulders back. Taking the arms into backstroke. Moving through those hips as well. Through that center of the body. And then take those arms into the opposite direction, taking it into a front crawl. Feeling how those shoulders may start to be loosening up a little. Warming up through those joints. And then bring those hands to stillness. Bring them down by the sides of the body. Just take a moment here in mountain pose, Tadasana. Feeling the grounding through those feet. This time take your right hand behind the back, taking a hold of that left elbow. Then push that right arm into that space where that chakra sits and push that chakra into that arm. Then take the head over left ear to left shoulder and make little half circles with those heads. Feeling that stretch through that right side of the neck into those right shoulders. Nice slow movement. Maybe finding a space where you wish to stay to stretch a little more. Keep pushing that sacral chakra into that right arm. And then release that right hand. Bring those hands up towards the ceiling. Bring the palms together. Release the hands to the chest. Start to forward fold over those legs. Take a hold of the blocks or books or nothing if you're not using. Step your right foot back. Drop that right knee to the floor. Keep the back toes tucked under. Lift up the chest. Take it in and out of this low lunge and pyramid position. So the breath in lifts the hips, straightens the legs and folds it over that front leg. Breath out, drop that back knee and lift up that chest. Breath in, lifts the hips. So feeling that fluidity as we move in and out of these two poses. Feel the emotion slowly releasing out of those hips. So hips are where we tend to hold a lot of stress, as we do in those shoulders. All the joints can get really agitated if we don't feed them with that circulation of the blood. Quite often toxins build up in those spaces. The more we can move our bodies, the more detoxed those joints can be. Again, feeling how fluid you can move in and out of these two places. Connect with that feeling of the body. Use that breath to move the body. The breath out brings the knee back down. The breath in lifts the hips and straightens the leg. Just another couple of times. Moving through that spine. One more time. Then the next time you come back to low lunge, don't drop the knee, release the blocks to the side, step back to a plank position, just hold it here for a couple of breaths. Then start to paddle and lift those hips back to our down dog. And take your 3 choices of Vinyasa. Maybe you want to start with a less energetic one. Come forward to a plank, drop down the knees, release the body to the floor, elbows graze the ribs. Push into the hands, lift up the chest. Release the chest down, tuck under the toes, chest back to the thighs, all the time keeping strong in that centre of the body as you go back to your down dog. Take a second Vinyasa, come forward to a plank, release a straight body for me, option 2. Roll through, up, lift that chest. Release the chest back down, tuck under the toes, bring the chest back to the thighs. Push into the hands and feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back. Use that breath. Breath in comes forward. Breath out releases either to hover or to the floor. Breath in, we lift up the chest. Breath out, we take ourselves back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling over those toes. Coming down onto the knees, bring the seat to the feet, bring the shoulders over the hips, take those arms into that flow of backstroke, moving through that waist. The hips are a little more grounded now as the bum is sat on those heels, so we're moving the waist rather than through that pelvis. And then take it in the opposite direction. Move the hands forward into that forward stroke, that front crawl. And then bring those hands back to stillness. Raise the hands up to the ceiling, bring the hands to the chest, and just take a moment just to switch into the body, calm the mind, calm the breath. Then making your way back to downward facing dog, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. So we're going to be moving into our pigeon pose. So take a breath in, raise that right leg up to the ceiling, bring the knee to the chest. Raise that leg back up to the ceiling, bring the right knee to the right elbow. Raise that leg back up to the ceiling. Bring that right knee to the left elbow. Raise that leg and bring that right knee just to the outside of the heel of the right hand and place it down on the floor. Untuck those back toes and send that left toes back a little further to the back of the mat. Bring your weight onto your right hand, bring your left hand to turn that right foot inward. Now that might be that you only get here. Find the space wherever feels most comfortable for you. The aim is to go something 45 degrees less or more. Bring the hands back in front of you, keep the chest lifted. Breathe in, lift the chest a little higher. Breathe out, fold over that leg. Breathe in, push into the hands, lift that chest, raise that gaze. Breathe out, fold over that leg. Breathe in, lift the chest, raise the gaze. Breathe out, fold over that leg. Breath in, lift the chest, raise the gaze. Breath out, fold over that leg. 2 more times. Breath in, lift, raise. Breath out, fold. Breath in, lift, raise. Breath out, fold. Then push into those hands. Come onto that right sit bone. Swing that left leg around. Bring it forward to the front of the mat. Bring the bums into the centre, the right foot into the inside of that left thigh. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over that left leg. Breath in, raise the hands. Breath out, release the hand down of the right to the floor. Breath in, raise that left hip. Breath out, release that bum to the mat. Breath in, raise the right hand. Breath out, fold over that left leg. Breath in, raise the hands. Breath out, right hand down. Breath in, raise that left hip. Breath out, release bum to the floor. Breath in, raise the right hand. Breath out, release over that left leg. One more time. Breath in, raise the hands. Breath out, drop the right. Breath in, raise the left hip. Breath out, drop the hips. Breath in, raise the right hand. Breath out, release to fold over that left leg and hold. Just allow that body just to fold over that left leg. Just bringing those hands to wherever they reach. Use the breath in to elongate that spine. Use the breath out to fold over those legs. Just fueling that body with some creativity rather than just holding poses static, but still feel that grounding and stability into the floor. Bring those shoulders back over the hips and bring your right foot to meet the left. Find that balancing point on the lower part of the spine. Bring the toes away from the mat and bring the feet up to knee high, either holding the back of the legs for a moment if you wish. Then bring the hands out to shoulder height. Breathe in. Breathe out, lower the back, point through the toes, straighten the legs. Breathe in, raise back to boat. Breathe out and lower. Breathe in, back to boat. Remember, you can just hold boat if you wish. Breathe out, lower. Breathe in, lift. 2 more times. Breathe out, lower. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, lower. Breathe in, lift. Tuck the toes under the bum or swing the legs around, making your way back to your downward facing dog. Lifting the hips, maybe moving those hips from side to side, nodding and shaking those heads. So as you can tell through this practice, we're doing lots of movement rather than holds, keeping it fluid. Breath in, come forward to a plank, 3 vinyasas of your choice. Release down to the floor, your option 1, 2 or 3. Roll through and up and lift up those chests. Release the chest back down. Finding your own way back to your down dog, taking 2 more vinyasas of your choice. Forward to plank on your inhale. Release down, either hover or to the floor. Roll through up, lift up the chest on the inhale. And make your way back to down dog on your exhale. 1 more time, flowing through that movement. Come forward to plank on the inhale. Release either to the floor or hover. Roll through up, lift up the chest. If you've hovered, thighs away. Making your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling over those toes, lifting those hips. Bring yourself back down onto your knees and tuck your toes, seat to the feet. And just move those arms in a backstroke motion, twisting through the waist as we move those shoulders. And then take them in the opposite direction, taking it into front crawl. All the time feeling those oblique muscles in the waist, helping us turn those shoulders a little to the left, a little to the right. And then bring those arms to stillness. Find your way back to down dog to do exactly those same poses on the left side. Breath in, raise that left leg. Breath out, bring the knee to the nose. Breath in, raise the leg. Breath out, left knee to left elbow. Breath in, raise that leg. Breath out, left knee to right elbow. Raise that leg. Breath out, this time bring that left knee to the heel of the left hand. Place it down, untuck the back toes, walk those toes of the right foot back. Put your weight onto your left side, take a hold of the left foot, turn the right, take a hold of the left foot with the right hand to turn that foot under the body. Take it to your range of movement. So we're going to lift the chest just for a couple of breaths first, and then take it into our fluid pigeon, sleeping pigeon to normal pigeon. Breathe in. Breathe out, fold over that left leg. Breathe in, lift the chest, raise the gaze. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, fold. 2 more times. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, fold. Breathe in and lift that chest, lift that gaze. Then roll over onto your left hip. Bring your right foot around. Bring the bums into the centre, the left foot into the thigh of the right leg. So make sure the flesh is removed from under the sit bones. Take a breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling. Your breath out folds over that right leg. Breath in, raise the hands. Breath out, drop the left. Breath in, raise the right hip. Breath out, release that bum to the floor. Breath in, raise the left hand. Breath out, fold over that right leg. Breath in, raise the hands. Breath out, drop the left. Breath in, raise that right hip, send the right hand back. Breath out, drop the hips. Breath in, raise the left hand. Breath out, fold over that right leg. One more time, breath in, raise the arms. Breath out, drop the left. Breath in, raise the right hip. Breath out, drop the hips. Breath in, raise the left. This time on your breath out, allow that body just to fold over that right leg. Use the long breath in to elongate the spine, and the long breath out maybe to find a little more fold. You may not be grabbing the toes, it may be the shins, it may be the knee, it may be the ankles. Work with what you've got. Just feel it in your body. Remember that sacral chakra is all about sensation and feelings. Then walk the hands back towards the body. Bring that left foot to meet the right. Find that balancing point on the base of the spine. Lift both sets of toes up to knee height. You can maybe stay here if you wish, or if you're coming into that dynamic movement, release the hands, breathe in. Breathe out, lower. Breathe in and lift. Breathe out, lower. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out, lower. Breathe in, lift. One more time, breathe out, lower. Breathe in, lift. And then fold those feet under or swing the legs around. Stepping back to plank position. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Nodding and shaking through those heads. Take 3 vinyasas of your choice. Forward to plank on the inhale. Releasing down to the floor on the exhale. I'm option 1. Roll through, uplift the chest. Release the chest back down, tuck under the toes. Chest back to the thighs, lift the hips, squeeze the heels back. 2 more vinyasas of your choice. Forward to plank on the inhale. Release to the floor on the exhale. Roll through and up and lift the chest. Inhale. Making your way back to down dog on your exhale. 1 more vinyasa. Release either to the floor or hover. Roll through up and lift those chests. Making your way back to down dog, lifting those hips. Take a nice long deep breath in. Long breath out. Come down onto the knees. Seat to the feet. Take arms into backstroke, Just working through those shoulders. Another couple of times. And then take them in the opposite direction into our front crawl. Sit bones grounded, twist from the waist slightly as we move those arms. Just thinking about swimming through that water, making that movement nice and fluid. Then release the arms, bring the hands to the chest. Just take a couple of moments here before we take it into our next standing flow. Find your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Your breath in raises the right leg up to the ceiling, and we take big circles with that right foot, moving that hip, but keeping that leg nice and straight. Then take circles in the opposite direction, moving it around nice and fluidly, getting those nutrients into those ball and socket joints of the hips. Then bring that leg back up to the ceiling, bring that right knee into the nose, step that right foot in between the hands, drop the back heel. Swing that left arm up and around, find warrior two. Push into that right foot, push into the outside of that left foot. Take a nice long deep breath in. Long breath out. Reach forward with the right hand, send it back to reverse warrior. Come back to warrior two. Right forearm on right thigh, left arm up and over. Come back to warrior two. Then reverse the warrior. Back to warrior two. Right forearm, right thigh, side angle stretch. Back to warrior two. Reverse warrior. Back to warrior two. Side angle stretch. One more time, back to warrior two. Back to reverse warrior. Back to warrior two. Back to side angle stretch and hold it here for a breath. Then make circles with that left arm down, around, back up to the ceiling, back forward to the front of the mat. Circle it down, around, back up to the ceiling, back to the front. Then take it in the opposite direction, send it back to the back of the room, back to the front of the room, and again, circle in the opposite direction. Then hold it in that side angle stretch. Then release both hands down, either side of the right foot, step back to a plank. Paddle those feet as you lift up through those hips, moving through the shoulders, the hips, the spine. Then bringing those heels to stillness. 3 vinyasas of your choice, forward to plank. Option 1 for me. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Find your own way back to down dog. When you get back to down dog, your next breath in takes your next vinyasa. Forward to plank, inhale. Release to the floor or hover. Roll through, up, lift the chest. Find your way back to down dog. Feel that fluidity through the shoulders, through the hips. Bring the awareness on your next vinyasa to that sacral point, that orange glow in between the belly button and that pubic bone. That whole body nice and warm. When you've finished your 3 vinyasas, come back onto the knees, bring the seat to the feet. Just take a couple of backstroke movements and a couple of front crawl. Then getting yourself ready to come back to down dog. Lifting those hips, squeezing those heels back. Your breath in, we raise that left leg. Keep it nice and straight. Make circles with that left foot with a straight leg. Getting movement into those hips. And then take those circles in the opposite way. Encouraging that right heel down towards the floor as much as possible. Feeling those hips open. Then straighten the leg, then bring that left knee to the nose. Step that foot in between the hands. Drop the back heel. Reach forward with the right hand. Bring yourself up to your warrior two. And sink those hips low. Push into both feet. Turn that left palm, reach forward. Reverse the warrior. Come back to warrior two. Left forearm, left thigh, side angle stretch, right hand reaches forward. Come back to warrior two. Reverse warrior, left hand lifts, right hand down the back of the right leg. Back to warrior two. Back to side angle stretch. Back to warrior two. Use those oblique muscles to move that torso. Reverse warrior. Back to warrior two. Side angle stretch. One more time. Warrior two. Reverse warrior, keeping those hips low. Side angle stretch. Hold it there for a breath. Make circles with that right arm down. Back to the back of the room, back up to the ceiling. Back to the front. And again, reach down, around and back, up to the ceiling, back to the front. Then take it in the opposite direction. Reach those right fingers back, down towards the floor, back to the front. And again, full circle with that right arm. Back to that side angle stretch for a breath. Bring both hands down to either side of that left foot. Step the left foot back to plank. Paddle those feet as you lift up those hips. Take a little movement through that down dog, through those shoulders, the spine, the hips. Then bring those feet to stillness. 3 vinyasas of your choice. Forward to plank on the inhale. Release down to the floor on the exhale. Roll through, up, lift up those chests. Making your way back to down dog. Seat to feet, lifting the hips. 2 more vinyasas. Forward to plank on the inhale. Release, either dropping knees or straight bodies. Lifting the chest. Connect with that body, that movement, that breath, that mind. 1 more vinyasa. Forward to plank on the inhale. Release down, either hover or to the floor. Use that breath to flow. When you get into your last downward facing dog, bring yourself back onto your knees. Keeping facing forward towards the camera. Roll the shoulders back. Just take a couple of strokes of backstroke. Then take it into our front crawl. Bring those hands back to the thighs. Keep those elbows into the sides of the body. Turn the palms forward and bring the hands out to the side. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. The next one, your last one. Swing the feet towards the front of the mat. Bring the arms to shoulder height. Then slowly and mindfully bring that body to the floor, feeling each vertebra coming down one by one to the mat, nice and controlled. When the shoulders and heads hit the floor, just take a bend into both knees. Have the feet and the knees together. Bring the arms either to cactus arms or a T shape. And then just windscreen wipe those legs just to neutralize that spine from its forward, its back bends, its lateral twists, its rotations. Our whole body is being taken through all different planes of movement. And then slowly let those knees come back to the center. Hug those knees into the chest. Just squeeze them in as tight as you can. And then let those feet come back to the floor. Either send the legs out long or in butterfly legs, whichever place feels most comfortable for you, for however long Shavasana you wish to take. Bring the hands down by the sides of the body, let the palms face up and those fingers gently curl. Take a long breath in and a long sigh out through the mouth. Another deep breath in and a long sigh out through the mouth. Bring your awareness now to that place in between the belly button and the pubic bone. Bringing your right palm onto that space. Bring your left palm onto the top of the right and just allow yourself to have that sensation of stillness. Thinking of the top of a lake. Stillness at the top, but knowing there's still some movement underneath that surface. The element of this chakra, the colour is orange. Svadhisthana chakra, Sacral chakra. Emotions, desires, pleasure, the feeling within the body. Knowing that you can make a practice fluid. And then slowly bring that practice to some form of stillness on the surface. But knowing that everything is still moving on the inside of the body to keep us living. Switching also back into that base chakra, the Muladhara chakra. Stability. Grounding, calm, letting everything just be. Feel free to stay in this Shavasana place for as long as you wish. Have peace in your thoughts, have peace in your words, have peace in your hearts. From my heart to yours, Namaste.